Hi and welcome to my channel Budget Audio Review. Now today's video is on this KX636 by Pioneer. Now, not to get mixed up with the SX-636, this is a slightly different version receiver than the SX. We take a closer look now at the front dial. You're going to see the difference here if you're familiar with the 636 SX. It is FM, shortwave 1 and shortwave 2, where the SX-636 has just got FM and medium wave. So we've got two extra bands, but they've taken away the medium wave. So if you have a little look inside, there's one slight difference between this model and the 636. It's this board here. This board is not present in the normal 636, normal SX636, where it's present here because that's what's doing the shortwave, that's what's picking up the shortwave signal. Other than that, these are identical. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about this Pioneer 636. I've done a few sound clips, so I'll put a link to one of them on there. You may be interested just to go and have a listen to see what it sounds like linked up to a pair of speakers. Also, I've done a few repairs on this as well, a little while ago now, but I want to stick a link up to that video as well at the top of the screen. This is where I've replaced, I think it's a total 6 transistors and 6 capacitors in this. These are transistors that are prone to go in this particular model and other Pioneer models as well. Obviously these can go in, just transistors can make, be noisy, making noise, popping noises, that kind of thing, static noise, that's what this was doing. Obviously other models, Marantz, Sensor, all them have got their own faults kind of thing, but it's pretty prone to this particular model, these transistors, quite well known. So if you want to look at that video, if you're thinking about buying one, you know what to maybe look out for, or maybe know how to repair, or get someone to repair it if that did happen to you. So link this up to my normal stuff around the house, a few different places, and also a few different pairs of speakers, etc. And just going to tell you my general thoughts on what I thought about this receiver. Okay, before we go on to the sound, just one thing I wanted to mention is that after replacing them transistors and them capacitors, obviously I redid the bias again, and there's a little page out in the manual there that shows you, or tells you, how to do the bias and reset that bias. But so you may want to go and have a look at that little video I posted earlier anyway. Okay, so this is the 636, the KX636. Just going to go along the front here and just show you the little bit of a difference you'd have compared to the SX636. As you can see, we're on auxiliary, and I'm just going to I'll do a close-up picture anyway, and we go to phono, then FM, then shortwave 2, and shortwave 1, and they're quite nice having them little indicators as you go along. And this is the kind of thing you're going to find when you start, going from the bottom end receiver maybe in that particular line, i.e. Pioneer or Marantz or something like that, that once you start going up in the range, maybe mid-range and that, you're going to get a few more features. And one of the features here on the Pioneer, you've got an idea of exactly where you are with a little indicator as well, rather than just on the dial. You've got a little indication as well. Just another little feature, obviously something extra you pay for, but just it's like a car, getting just a basic model to a more deluxe model, like kind of thing with leather interior and all that. It's just just ups it a little bit and makes it feel a little bit more well, it is a bit more expensive. It doesn't make it feel a bit more expensive. It actually is a bit more expensive, a bit more luxurious, shall we say. Okay, let's get on to the sound. Onto the sound then, and I had this set up around the house in a few different places, and also compared it with a Sansui 331 as well, just as a little bit of a contrast. So it's set up in a few places, a few different set of speakers on both, just as a little bit of a comparison between the two. That Sansui is about 14-15 watts a channel. This is 25 watts a channel. So this is going to be a little bit louder, but I didn't really notice it that much, to be honest with you. I turned the volume and they're pretty much both in the same position, both amplifiers. Now, these are older vintage amplifiers, and with these the wattage is going to sound louder than what it actually does, kind of thing. In today's standards, you go out today and buy one, you may have to buy something that's around about 40 watts, something like that, to kind of compare it to, with the oomph it's got. It's going to sound more beefier than you're probably going to think it's going to sound, being a low wattage amplifier. Like I said, this has got a warm kind of sound to it. It's quite, it's got a little bit of body to it. It's got that bit of richness to it. It's a nice sounding amplifier. Let's start off with the top end. It's got, with a warm amplifier, warm sounding system, you may be thinking the top end is going to be slightly rolled off, but in this is not the case here. It's, it's got plenty of top end still. Top end sounds nice. It's quite detailed, maybe not as quite as detailed as the Sansui, but the top end's still quite nice. It's quite nice to listen to. The mid range, that sounded nice. The vocals sounded nice. Male and female vocals sounded nice. The trumpet, the sax, that kind of thing. The piano all sounded nice. Just lacked a little bit of decay. The Sansui just gives a little bit more decay. So for instance, if you're hitting the cymbals, they kind of went tss with the Sansui. Just cut off a little bit here with the Pioneer. Same with the vocals. It just seems like it's just cutting off just a fraction, just smoothing them off a little bit and cutting them off kind of thing, where you're getting a bit more timbre maybe, that kind of thing, with some of the instruments on the Sansui. Wasn't quite as present here on this Pioneer. Bottom end was nice. It's got plenty of guts down in the bottom, plenty of oomph to it in the bottom end. Probably just a little bit more bottom end than the Sansui. Just a little bit more rounded off maybe than the Sansui. It's not one noted or anything like that. It's just sound, it sounds nice. It's just got that warm sound to it, where it'd be like the bottom end just sound, it's just going to sound a little bit more rounded off. It's just got a little bit more warmth to it, a little bit more, maybe a little bit more body to it. This amplifier, maybe just a tad, just got that bit more richness to it. Maybe that kind of more richness kind of sounding amplifier. Quite a nice sounding, smooth sounding amplifier that maybe just lacks a little bit of the detail that the Sansui had. The sound stage is nice. It's not quite as holographic and as open as that 331 amplifier. That's got quite a spatial kind of holographic depth and everything to that sound stage. Here it's still pretty good. It's still got quite an open sound stage. It's got quite a bit of depth to it, etc. Quite a nice sounding amplifier, as I keep on saying, because I can't stress it enough. The instrument placement was nice, all where they should be. They all sounded nice. Maybe not quite as detailed as that Sansui, but still a nice amplifier. I can't stress it enough. If you're thinking about getting one of these, it's definitely going to come. Highly recommended. These go on eBay here in the UK for about £140. In America for about $160, something like that, on a bid up. Obviously there's plenty of buy it now for about $250, 250 quid here in the UK, but I'm sure you get one bid up for about the £140 mark, something like that. And for that kind of money, it definitely comes recommended, definitely an amplifier I like. Okay, until the next video, I'll say thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.